Hey there, this is Katherine Cartwright. Welcome. I've got the Pop-Up Gingerbread House. This is from Diamond Press. This has been a Autoship series from HSN, and this is the latest one that has arrived. It is an adorable gingerbread pop-up house. This video is kind of long, but because I wanted to show you how to put it together, and but it's so cute, a lot of fun. So I've got at least 3 other videos on this pop-up series. It's been a lot of fun, and so there's some other ones for reference. Some of those have been for sale on HSN after the fact, so if you like any of those, you can pick those up. I don't know if this one's on HSN yet. There's always a possibility that it will be. Once they fulfill their auto ships, oftentimes it will pop up on their website for sale. So I'm just showing you the dies here. There is what I call a worker die that's going to be the heart of your card. That is the house. And so I'm just showing you that you need to take into account the little tabs at the bottom. When I first got the Autoship series of the pop-ups, I stamped a bunch of stuff, not realizing that I had to cut the bottom part to make the house stand. So I learned my lesson. So I always like to reference that so you understand why I am making sure to leave enough room for the tabs at the bottom. And I'm just kind of lining this up, and then I will stamp this onto some craft cardstock. I am going to use some Stickles glitter glue with this first card, and then in the next one I'll do a little bit of coloring with your marker. So you have a lot of flexibility. You could just stamp this in one color like I'm doing. You don't even have to really embellish it if you don't want to, or you could pick white and make any color gingerbread house you wanted to. So there's a lot of flexibility with that. There's some other pieces that are going to go with it, including the roof part, and there's a roof support. So I'll show you those in just a second. I'm just lining this up to die cut, and you can see there are the doors and windows. So it makes it pretty easy to pick exactly where to lay that. And then you get these adorable windows and the doors open and close. Super, super cute. Diamond Press always does a good job with these interactive products. Very creative. And then there's some additional stamps to help embellish and jazz up your card. All right, so I'm just flipping over the instructions. Like I always say in a lot of these Diamond Press videos, they give you full color instructions, especially on products like this that I would call interactive. Very well thought out always. So I love that about Diamond Press. Okay, here is, I'm just showing you there that we're going for a box out of this. That's what this will turn into, this cute little house. And I want to do something different. I don't know what it is about gingerbread houses and glitter. I just think they go hand in hand, even though I have made lots of gingerbread houses with my children, and we have never once used glitter. I guess maybe I've seen things in the store that, like a ceramic gingerbread house, and there's always glitter on the roof. So anyway, maybe that's why I think that Stickles is the perfect option for a paper gingerbread house. So I just pulled out a bunch of different colors. I tend to use just the ones that have glitter in them. I don't use the color ones as much as I would like, but I have a lot of them. And so I decided this would be a good application for this product. It dries beautifully, it dries really flat for the most part, and you get so much shine. So I'm just taking a second here to run this around, and then I'll have to let it dry for a good bit of time to make sure that I don't get any smudges or anything. So I'm just coming in here and filling in some of my other candy, and then I've got one other color. I think I'm going to use this kind of, it's not a purple and not a pink, so it's a blend of the two, but I thought it worked well with the color scheme. Okay, so I love how that turned out, and I'll put that aside and let that dry. Just got to get that last little one of the blue gumdrops. So cute. So here is the roof support piece. You need one of these. I used not the heaviest white cardstock I own, but it's a decent size for sure, since that's supposed to be the top, help keep that roof on there. And then I need to stamp out the tops of those, the two roof pieces that will go to the roof support. So you need two of those. So I have pulled out my Tri-Blend Spectrum Noir markers, and I'm just going to do one side on camera, and then I'll finish the second one off camera, and then I'll die cut those. But I'm just kind of, they've got a picture there. I'm looking a little bit at the picture for inspiration, one, just to make it easy, so I don't have to think too hard. I love that they didn't color in all of them. You could, like I said earlier, you could do a lot of different things with these. You could stamp them and heat emboss them and then not fill in. You know, you could do it on a colored paper. In that way, you could watercolor these and get a cool effect, I think, if you stamp this onto watercolor paper. So the possibilities are really limitless. You could add in the stickles on these as well if you wanted to. So just a lot of different ideas that you could use, just based on whatever medium you have in your craft room. So I'm going to add a little bit of yellow here, and then I'm going to start cutting these out. And it cuts at the top where the 6 little gingerbread, gumdrop pieces, I should say, not gingerbread. Gumdrop pieces are, there's a little score line, and you'll see that in just a second. You can see that little die running across the top. That's creating a score line on these pieces. And then I'm also going to cut some individual pieces to decorate my card. So I'm just showing you a lot of the different pieces that you can use to put this product together. And I wanted to make some tags as well with those great sentiments, but I ran out of time. So I may revisit that in another video. But I think if you had some larger tags that you could stamp those sentiments and color them, and they would be great. Or you could ink blend on top of it first, on top of your tag, and then heat emboss or stamp on there. And I think that would be another great use of the stamp set. All right, so I'm just stamping out a bunch of gingerbread cookies and gumdrops, and I love that they have the gumdrops and the little candies. They're in a row of 4, and then there's one die. So it cuts out a bunch at once. And they've done that in several of the pop-up card series. There was one with a tree, kind of a Halloween tree, and you could cut out a bunch of leaves with it. So I think that's just a very creative use of your dies, and it makes the die cutting much, much quicker. So that's great. So I'm just pulling out some different browns here. I wasn't sure exactly which brown I wanted to use. You can see those in the video. I've got some Copics in my browns. My Spectrum Noir brown marker has run out of ink. They're not refillable, so I need to pick up another one, but I use that one all the time, so I need to replace one of them. But here, the rest, I'm going to use my Spectrum Noirs. So cute. So gingerbread cookies are my favorite cookies. Gingerbread men. We have 2 local bakeries that make gingerbread men, and there is one bakery that has a slight edge, in my opinion, over the other one because they put raisins on the gingerbread man. The other one is just icing for his little belly or the little buttons, you know. And so the one with the raisins has the slight edge. But they're both very good. But I love gingerbread men. And I've seen the gingerbread men in some of my big box stores recently, cookies, and that you can decorate yourself. I think that's kind of fun. So like I referenced, I've made a lot of gingerbread houses with my children. It's kind of an annual thing. They've completely lost interest now, and they really don't love to do it anymore, but sometimes I still get one and we do it together, or at least I make them do it. And then we take pictures and enjoy it. And it's one of my favorite memories. So this time of year, when I start going to the stores and seeing gingerbread stuff, houses, it's such nostalgia for me, and it makes me miss them being little. during that holiday season. So anyway, I knew I was going to love this pop-up set. So I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. The gingerbread is bringing back a lot of memories. Okay, so back to the project. All right, we've got all our pieces ready here. I'm going to fold that little gumdrop part that I mentioned earlier. And then you're just going to glue the top of those only back to back, because you want that rest of the roof free. So I'm just going to pinch those together. When I do things like this, I like to open them up immediately to make sure, since I use a liquid glue, that I did not accidentally glue it together. So I'm always very mindful of that. When you use a dry adhesive, you don't have that problem as much, but sometimes I can over glue. And then if you're not careful, you can close something up, a piece up that you don't want to. So on that roof support, I'm just following the instructions here, pinching that center part together, and then these other tabs will fold down. So I'm just looking at the instructions. You can see it on the right. It's very well laid out of how to glue that in there. So my box is nice and dry. It looks fantastic, and I'm so excited with how it turned out. So again, I'm just looking at the pictures, which I appreciate very much, and then I'm going to glue this end down for my roof support. I'm going to flip this over just so I can see it a little better. I like to be able to look and make sure there's not too much of that white part exposed. And then it says to repeat the process again on the other end, and you're going to bring in that little tabbed end as well. So I'm just folding that down and getting my instructions in view so I can see them. And then I will add that little bit of glue to the end, and we'll have a nice box here. So I'm just going to press and hold that for a second, and then I will bring that tab in and hold that. I'm going to hold that for a second. And I'm just kind of pinching it, making sure it's where it needs to be and it's not moving. Since it is a liquid glue, you need to give it a second or two to set up. And then I'm just pressing it down and making sure it will lay flat. And it looks pretty good. Pretty good. And I will let that dry again really, really well. So I'm just folding it, and love the little doors. So cute. All right, so now I'm going to put my roof on here. They've got a picture where to apply. So you can see that that tab is on the back of your roof side, and then the same on the other. And then when you pinch it, look at that. I've sped this up a little bit just because this video was so long. But you can see that it's so cute. And you've got that cute roof. Adorable. And I'm just making sure everything is where it's supposed to be. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp the inside of my card. I made sure on this one that it's where it's supposed to be and that the house will not be in the way before I did it. But I like to go ahead and stamp it. That's something I've discovered on the pop-ups, is I like to go ahead and kind of decorate the card, at least at the bottom or the sides, before I add the pop-up. It's just a little easier than taking it to my stamp positioner after. I use my stamp positioner all the time. And so I'm just going to make sure that I've got my stamp in place and my image where I want it to go before I finish the inside. So cute. So it's got that adorable Merry Christmas. So you could color that font. You could heat emboss it. So there's a lot that you could do with the stamps on this. All right, so I'm just flipping this over, and I'm making sure that my box matches the picture there. So I glue it in the correct direction, and I'm going to put a very generous amount of glue on here. And then you're going to kind of put this up to the edge, and then I like to fold the card over. And I am going to glue the other side, but you need to wait. I pull it off just a little too quick here before the glue even has a second to hold up. And I'm just so excited to see if it works. And you can see it comes right apart. So I've got to wait just another second here to let it open up. And I'm still trying to get it working. I'm being very impatient. If I would just wait, it would work just fine. You can see all that glue is just pulled off. Okay, now, there we go. Now we are stuck. And I will say this folds very well, but you have to kind of commit to it, if that makes sense. So it's, the other pop-ups have not had, roof on the house. It does work very well. You just have to kind of smush it together and it will go. Once you start working it, and the paper falls into place. So it's very, very fun. And I have this paper pad from Michael's Holiday Romance. I'm going to be working with that soon on some Christmas cards. I'm just dipping my toe into Christmas. I've been in Halloween and Thanksgiving for quite a bit, and I still have some fall stuff to work with. But I had to pull this out because it just came the other day and it was so cute I couldn't wait. So I just went ahead and cut a piece of paper that went pretty well with the cardstock, that pink cardstock. And then you can see you just got to push it. It really does go down. You just have to get it going. And then once you commit to it, it just pushes in there. You'll see. And so I'm going to put the snowflake cardstock on the front. And then I will add the gingerbread piece to it. And then I'll add a few little friends on the front. I just thought that would be cute in keeping with the gingerbread house inside of my card. Very, very cute. Okay, so I've pulled some of those little pieces that I made from the earlier part of the video. I'm going to glue these down on the right hand side. And I've got that gingerbread man, and then that has a cute little bite out of it. So cute. And then some of the gumdrops, of course, and a candy cane. And then I'll add a little bit to the front of my card as well. And then I'm going to make another project that is super, super fun. It's a Slimline card, and it turned out great. All right. So now I'm going to come back here. I'm going to add a little bit of foam here and pop up these sweet little gingerbread people. So, so cute. So, so cute. Love it. All right. So that, I have to put a little more stickles on there. I forgot. I had to add a little bit to my gumdrops in keeping with my Stickles gingerbread house. So I'll just pull out those same colors I had on my desk, and then I'll let that dry really, really well before I close it so I don't make any smudges inside of my card. It's so cute. Look at that little roof. It's just adorable. I gotta get this one going again. There we go. Okay. So cute. So I encourage you, if you have this set, to use some of your other things that you have, watercolor, stickles, heat emboss, just a lot of fun to be had with that. All right. So here is the another one that I went ahead and cut. I cut this out of some Copic friendly paper, and I am going to keep just the two houses. So I'm going to discard the other pieces of the pop-up, and then I want to turn this into a card. So cute. I'm using that white, and then I'm pulling out some Slimline dies. I have this set from Diamond Press as well. This was part of that Ultimate card making collection, which was a Today special on HSN a while ago. I just picked it up recently. I did not purchase it at the time that it was released, but I got it recently, and so I've just been using some of the products from that in my recent videos. So I pulled out one of the dies that I wanted because I want to make a blended background. This paper is Bristol cardstock. I use the smooth. It is my favorite to blend with because the ink kind of sits up on the paper for a second and gives you the opportunity to really get a good blend. So I'm just taking my container here and I'm pulling out some of my colors. I don't really have a particular idea in mind, except I'm going to try and create kind of a snowy sky, hopefully. And then I'm going to put a little bit of grass on the bottom, just a little line of green, essentially, to ground my images to the bottom. Now you could use, if you have a die cut, you could use a grass die cut or something. But this is just how I'm going to create my scene. So very quick and easy blend there, trying to keep it on the bottom. And then I will move in with some other colors. I know I've got Salty Ocean, maybe broken china. I was thinking it was peacock feathers, but it's broken china and chipped sapphire. So those are the three blues that I'm going to use. So I'm going to leave a little bit of white in between, even though a lot of it's going to be covered, but that's just the way I like to kind of create my scene there. And then I'm going to move on to my next color, the broken china, and I'll blend that in there, and then I'll come in with my darkest one at the top, the chipped sapphire. So, but I do like the Bristol cardstock. That's what I use. For my ink blending, I just have had the best success with it. I don't think I'm the best blender. I'm probably too impatient to go over it again and again and again. And sometimes I do. Sometimes I will put in the effort. I sound terrible, like I won't do anything. But, some people are very detail oriented with their blending, which is great. I am not quite as detail oriented. And I do think too, in fairness to myself, that the camera, it's not always as pretty on camera as it really is in real life, because it shows every little detail. And in real life, it just doesn't look like that. So anyway, but I like the way that looked, and has the vibe that I'm going for. I'm going to spray a little bit of water. I've got my Distress spray bottle. If you don't have one of these in your craft room, you need to have one. I need to do a video at some point of just the must-haves of my craft room that I cannot live without. The things that you reach for day in, day out when you're creating videos and making cards. And that's the one that I would recommend, is that spray bottle. It's my favorite. I think I have two of them actually. So I always have them close at hand. All right. So I've got my kind of snowy sky here is what I'm going for. I went ahead and colored the two houses, and now I'm going to add some foam on the back. And I used a purple on one and a blue on the other, and then I took my red for the candy cane sides. I thought that was really cute. So I'm just peeling off my foam adhesive here, and then I will work on putting the rest of this card together. And then I also pulled out another diamond press set. It was an Autoship. I'll link the name in the description. I know it's not for sale anymore, but you might have it in your craft stash. It was one of the interactive wheel ones, and it had like a pumpkin in there, and it had just tons of stuff in it. And I saw this tree, and I thought this would be great for what I wanted to do. And then they had this adorable snowman. The scale was great for the card, and so it just kind of came together. These were just some pieces I had already colored previously, and I just pulled them out. And there were a couple of snowflakes in that set as well, but I wanted to put my gingerbread men in their house, and so that is what I was going for with this idea. So I'm going to place my gingerbread man in there, glue him down, and then I'm going to pop up my house on top. So since this has open doors, you can open it up and see the little gingerbread man underneath. How cute is that? Oh. So, sometimes you get an idea and you think, oh, I'm going to try this and it's going to work out, or it's not. But a lot of times they don't work out, and I have to just completely scrap the idea. But this is actually one that all the scale worked together. And so I'm so happy with how it turned out. Sometimes you just have to kind of take a risk and see if it works. Waste the time and see if it comes together or not. I mean, that's life, right? Always putting in the effort to see what you might get out of it. Okay, so that little Merry Christmas banner is from My Favorite Things. It's a little tiny stamp set, and there were some coordinating dies that went with it. I'll link that in the description as well. But I thought the size, again, scale. I'm working on scale this time, trying to keep things in the right perspective, so to speak. And I'm going to add that banner on there. Just so sweet. With a little bit of the red that pulls in the red from my house. And I'm just going to keep scooting my banner over, because I decide that it needs to be more centered over that beautiful tree. Okay, and that looks great as is. But I thought that tree, it might need to have some gumdrops on it. So I'm going to add this panel that additional die cut on there, that beautiful die cut I cut from dark blue cardstock. And then I'll add this to the top of my card. So I'm going to add my gumdrops on here. I thought it needed to be a gumdrop tree. We have a gumdrop tree at our house. My dad loves gumdrops, and he always wants to eat them at the holidays. So I'm just kind of laying those extra ones out, and I decided to make that gumdrop tree. And then I've got a few other little pieces. I think he needs to hold a piece of candy, and there should be a candy cane in my gingerbread house village. I'm going to call it a village, gingerbread house village. And I will glue that candy cane just directly down, and then I'll add my gumdrops to my gumdrop tree. But anyway, it's like a clear plastic tree, and you can put your gumdrops on there, and it's very cute. My grandmother had one of those. I can remember a long time ago her having one, so that was part of my dad's childhood and mine. So there is that card, that slimline with the adorable gingerbread men peeking out from behind the door. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you like gingerbread men, if you like gingerbread cookies. I'm really curious. And then here is, of course, the star of the show, the gingerbread house pop-up. That's so fun and easy to create. So I hope that this inspires you to pull out your set and give it a spin. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.